Hey, Prime members, you can listen to Crime and Sports early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Download the app today.
In the depths of an Atlanta forest, a clash between activists and authorities ends in tragedy. I'm Matthew Scher, and on my new podcast, We Came to the Forest, we expose the hidden truths behind a shootout that left one activist dead and countless lives forever changed. Binge all episodes of We Came to the Forest ad-free on Wondery Plus.
Everybody, and welcome back to Crime and Sports.
Yay!
Yay, indeed, Jimmy. Yay, indeed. My name is James Pietragallo. I'm here with my co-host.
I'm Jimmie Whisman.
Thank you, folks, so much for joining us on another wild, crazy episode of Crime and Sports. And this is crazy, especially because we're going back to our Dotzik roots here. This is another, if you don't know, we're talking about Vyacheslav Dotzik, who was an early episode we did this is right after our first year. And he's a Russian MMA fighter who was absolutely an insane person, just the shit that he did. We have another one of those today. Oh, he still is. And he comes up in this story, too. We have another.
Oh, great.
We have a crazier Russian MMA fighter.
Really?
An actual murderer. So that's good. Yeah. We have an actual murderer. He's out of his fucking...
Give Dotzik time. It's coming.
Oh, he'll kill somebody. Don't get me wrong. Yeah. But as of right now, he still doesn't have any bodies officially...
Zero body
given to him. But we have a special announcement before we start the show. First off, little house cleaning, and then we have an amazing announcement that we hope you're going to love. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to all the live shows coming up for Small Town Murder for 2023. First up, we are February 10th in Cleveland, February 11th in St. Louis, and those tickets are going fast. So get your asses in there and get those if you want to come to those shows. Patreon.com/crime and sports, of course, is where you get all the bonus stuff. There's so much. Anybody $5 a month or above, you're going to get access to everything. There's like over 150 episodes of bonus back catalog to binge on, and then you get 2 new ones every other week, 1 crime and sports, 1 small town murder, and that's not going to stop. And this week, what you're going to get, these Patreons are going to come out on Christmas Eve. And I have my son here. There's a lot of family stuff going on. So we're going to do 1 Patreon this particular one. Yeah. That's a Christmas present for you, and your Christmas present to us is to do 1 and not 2. So we can spend time with our families because
easy peasy.
It's easy peasy, but it's going to be a really funny one. It's very personal. It is going to be Jimmie and myself will talk about the worst comedy gigs we've ever been a part of. We're going to do that. This is our history. Get some stand-up stuff that we'll talk about, and we've been asked about this type of thing so many times that we need to just do a whole episode on it. We'll make it a long one too. It won't be short. It'll be a nice long one. Check that out, and then you get new stuff every other week, like we said. So that is patreon.com/crime and sports. Now, big announcement here.
Yeah.
Everybody, we announced a while back, what was it, maybe a month and a half ago, that we were ending
4 or 5 weeks,
ending Crime and Sports at the end of 2022, and that would mean this would be our second to last episode.
Yeah,
second to last episode, and then we've gotten bombarded in a good way, not in a bad way. We've gotten a lot of messages. And a lot of people are just upset about it. And they're so cool about it. People are so fucking nice about it because none of them are like, hey, fuck you guys. They're all like, I understand.
You don't know what this show means to me.
But I'm just sad. And people go, I'm just sad. I'm like, oh my God, we're hurting people by not doing, it's weird. I never thought, when we started this show, I'll be very honest, we started this show 7 years ago, February.
So weird.
We didn't know if anybody would ever care.
Yeah.
And even if
open.
even if we had some listeners, we didn't think that it would matter to the point where they would actually pick up their phone and message somebody to say that they're sad, which that hurt me. I was like, I don't want them to be sad. They've been our listeners for so long. So it wasn't easy. On the business end, wasn't easy to figure out how to do, but we have somehow made it so we're keeping Crime and Sports going, is what we're telling you. We're not ending it.
We can't.
We can't do it. We can't do it to you and to us, and we love it, and we know that you guys love it. So we're keeping crime in sports. It's going to be a little bit different. That was the only way we could make it so it'll work, business-wise, because there's contracts and things like that, and we do have we do have another show starting also, and this was supposed to replace. So we said, but this is what we want to do, and Wondery was nice enough to let us do it. So we're going to keep doing. I mean, we could do it, but to actually be on board with it. So
it's going to be done a different way.
It's going to be
kind of
a little bit different. I mean, it's still crime and sports. It's still us, but we're no more. So once in a while, you might get like the 3-hour show or whatever like that, but it's not going to be like that every week. We can't. Right. We couldn't do that anymore. There's just not enough people to do that anymore. There just isn't. Right. So it's going to be kind of a shrunken down but powered up version of it. Because there's a lot of stories where there's like somebody did like 1 or 2 things that are fucking insane, but we can't fill the rest of it with 3 hours. There's not enough backstory and fill in to make a 3-hour show. You need the childhood. You need everything, and it's really hard to do. It's hard to find somebody and document their entire 50-year existence, and they've been in the public eye. It's impossible, man, to do that. It's like a research thesis every week, and we can't fucking do it anymore. And not only that, it was just...
They don't exist.
They don't exist. So, but we have all these crazy stories that are shorter, and some might be an hour, some might be an hour and a half, we don't know. Whatever it comes out to be, but it's going to be crime and sports, and it's going to be... we're going to pack as much punch into that as we can and try to kind of do as little sports as we can, try to back off some of the stats and shit like that, and just kind of make it,
give you everything we can.
Make it as streamlined as humanly possible, and give you all the good stuff and really punch hard. And so we're going to show you this week what we're talking about. This week we're going to give you a sample of this is what the show will be, which you're going to go, it's crime and sports. It's just a little shorter. You go, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. So we're going to
walk down the frozen food aisles at Costco and have a little sample of crime and sports.
That's it. That's on a little toothpick. Don't eat the toothpick.
Brand new.
Don't eat. It's sharp.
New and improved.
It's the new and improved crime and sports. So we'll be doing this. We will be doing Lawrence Taylor next week, and that'll be a full, ring the bells and all that, regular crime and sports. It'll be the last one of those, and then we'll start again. But crime and sports is staying, and the fact that we're doing that, all we ask of you is that listen to every goddamn episode. If you never heard of a guy, don't skip an episode, stuff like that, because that's what makes it hard for us to convince people that this show is worth doing. So we'll hold up our end of the bargain and give you a kick-ass, funny fucking show. And you guys just try to do that for us, and we will continue.
Yeah.
That said, let's get into it.
And then support our new show when it comes out.
Yes, and we'll be announcing that at the beginning of the new year, because then it'll be a month, because it's going to come out in February, because we realized that Crime and Sports came out in mid-February, and Small Town Murder debuted in mid-February, so we're kind of partial to starting shows in mid-February.
Pretty good month.
That's what we're going to do. So there we go. That said, let's get into this, Jimmy.
Let's go.
We have a crazy-ass episode, no matter the length. Maxim Novoselov.
Why do they all have to...
Maxim.
Yeah.
Maxim.
What was Dotzik's first name?
Vyacheslav.
See that? There's another Ov.
Yeah, the Ovs are big over. The Lavs and anything with Ovs. Pav and Lav. Very big over there. Molotov. It's all on that shit.
Cocktails and everything.
Yeah. This guy is Russian, born in Russia, and this man... If you could personify a country.
Oh yeah.
Remember we said back in the Dotsik episode, we said if 4chan was a country, it would be Russia. This guy is if you turned Russia and somehow like a wizard did a thing and there was a big cloud with sparks and shit, and then poof, it came out a person, it would be Maxim Novoselov, without a doubt. He is Russia as a human. He's born May 15th, 1973.
Okay.
And he's still MMA fighting, so that tells you a lot about
Today?
him right there. Oh, yeah.
Good Lord.
Brain damage isn't really the problem with this guy, or if it was, it happened at a young age, because he's always been a fucking maniac.
A 50-year-old man fighting hand-to-hand combat is a...
It seems ridiculous.
It seems dangerous to himself more than anybody else.
When you see the guy, though, you go, you know what? Do whatever you got to do. He's a fucking... He's a beast of a human being. He's 6 foot tall, 250 pounds, and just looks like I can't. He looks like a bear, like a shaved bear. He's such a fucking beast. This guy. Now, a lot of stuff that I couldn't find anywhere else came from a couple of Russian articles because he's Russian, so that's where he's covered most of all, especially his background and some of his criminal shit here. The Russian article was written by Vasily Trunov. I couldn't tell what the publication was. I don't even fucking know. It's all in Russian. This Google Translate helped a lot here.
Yeah.
We're going to have a lot of fun with the translations also because they really sound funny. Maxim's nickname, Mad Max, is what everybody calls him, of course. Yeah. I feel like he should be able to, there should be a tournament of like him and Vernon Maxwell and put all the other Mad Maxes in and fight to the death.
Anytime Max is in the name, Mad is it's like 97%, right?
Yeah, even the chick on Stranger Things was Mad Max on her video game thing.
Yeah. Because it's either that or Maxi Pad. That's all you got.
That's pretty much all you're getting. Yeah, you want to be Mad Max or Maxi Pad? Which one?
And she's a redhead, so that's a given.
Yeah, look at you, ultra absorbent, huh? Hey, she's for heavy flow days, right? What's happening, heavy flow? If a girl's name is
extra security,
if a girl's name is Flo, is that what you call her? Heavy flow, light flow.
Likely, yeah.
You can do all that kind of shit. Now, here is the intro from the article. This will give you an overview of our fella here. Okay. Quote: 123 kilograms of meat, bald head, scarred face, steel look. Maxim Novoselov is a professional fighter without rules and a versatile warrior. He throws knives, fights with axes, and knows how to shoot from any weapon, from a Makarov pistol to an RPG.
Why?
Because he's a fucking psycho. Dude, he was in like the Russian army, too. He did all sorts of crazy shit, training people how to hand-to-hand combat with axes and hatchets and shit. He's a fucking psychopath. He's a psycho because his other shit, what he does outside of MMA is not like he doesn't work at Target and stock shelves and shit. No, he's a fucking psychopath. Whatever
you work at Gold's Gym, cleaning up the barbells.
Whatever dark, shadowy Russian underground you're picturing, this guy's the guy sitting at the table going, "Bring him to me," and then they come and he rips the guy's head off his shoulders. Like that's him. He was from, I guess, Tregorny. Tregorny. Oh my God. Trek. Hgorny. So that's where he's from, I suppose. It's called a closed paramilitary town. That's where he's from.
What?
Yeah. There's a lot of like. There's some weird.
Why do they have that?
There's some weird shit going on in Russia. That's why.
So you'd liken it to like a Fort Bragg or something like that.
No,
but it's worse.
No. A Fort Bragg is an actual military installation. This is like growing up in a militia town in Idaho.
Oh, it's not even state-sponsored.
Paramilitary.
Oh my God.
This is like a bunch of crazy assassins
guerrillas.
and hired out. Like what's the word I'm looking for?
Contract hitmen?
Yes, but
contractors for the government.
I guess it would be the best way to put it. But he's one of those, like a paid mercenary. That's
There's
what they
the
are.
word.
Mercenaries.
Yeah.
These are like mercenary people from like an 80s movie. People Chuck Norris would have to shoot with a rocket launcher. You know what I mean?
God.
Like shit like that. So very fucking strange. This article also says that the local boys at the time he grew up, 70s and 80s, because Russia also was going down fucking hill in the 80s. Things weren't great. They had three options: to be a boxer, a wrestler, or a hooligan. There were nothing else to do there, basically.
All of those are people who assault others.
Deadwood is what he just described. He just described Deadwood. He says you tried to be like, they had all these unsanctioned fights. Is what they would do, like these unsanctioned crazy fights, and you would try to be like the toughest guy in your area. It's so strange, man. This is like, it sounds like a giant prison camp is what this place sounds like. So here is a quote from Max himself. At least once a month, our Cosmodrome gang fought wall to wall with someone. He said they were all Could be simple reasons. Some guy, one of their friends, got pushed at a disco, or something. Any kind of argument could cause a giant gang brawl. Basically, he said. Guys they'd break each other's ribs, knock each other's teeth out, but everyone left on their own feet. So fist fights is what he said.
For wear.
Yeah, that's all. Just fist fights. No, nothing more than chains and knives. We're going like a 1959 Rumble is what they're having over there. So
and teeth and the ribs.
But that's okay. You can walk away. You're still
just because you can stand doesn't mean that you're not very injured.
Make you man, Jimmie. That's problem. You're not man.
I don't want to lose teeth over this.
You break rib. Next time you breathe, every time you think I should fight better next time. That's all it is. Every time you breathe, you go, I'm bad fighter. I need train harder. I got to be better. That's a reminder.
Exact, yeah.
You walk away, nothing broken. Hey, next time you come in, hey, I good fighter. You get killed. See, that's how it works. I don't know what accent that is, by the way.
Every time you smile, you're reminded that you got suckered.
Go, protect face more. More protect face, less put arm down. See, remind.
Missing an incisor. Maybe I won't drop the left next time.
Real world reminder to keep hand up and defend self at all time. See, it's good. So he got through school, I guess. In his school, there was military applied stuff.
Of course,
it's like a part. Yeah, there was like combat courses you could take in high school. Also, I'm not even shitting you, which is
like shop class, but
shop class, except with artillery. That's what they were working out. By 18, he was a dangerous man. Essentially,
I would say so. Yeah, he's trained that way.
He's been fighting. He shoots with any weapon accurately because he's been trained, kind of like ROTC style, I guess.
Yeah,
and
with live rounds.
He can very, very happy and proud that he can disassemble a machine gun in 11 seconds. Which we have not had a whole lot of crime and sports subjects in 333 prior episodes that had any. They didn't know what their time was in disassembling a machine gun. So
sub 15, that's not bad.
We've never given out that stat before. Disassembling machine gun time. That's the first. Yeah. He averaged 12.6 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. He had a block and a half a game. Oh, and he could disassemble a machine gun in 12.8 seconds. That's pretty impressive too. We've never
under 11 seconds is crazy.
Yeah, it's so he ended up going into the Army, and this is when Afghanistan was going on, if you remember. It died out kind of in the late 80s and all that kind of shit. Russia was
when Russia was bankrupt.
Yeah, ass deep in that. Yeah. And then after that there's other problems. There's been Chechenian things that they've been. There's a lot going on in Russia. If you want to fight and shoot things, Russia was a good place to be for you. So he said, quote, "We were trained for war in elite companies by experienced men who went through Vietnam and Afghanistan. There was no lawlessness in the military units. There are no grandfathers, spirits, and scoops in battle." I don't know what that means. Okay. Yeah. But that means something, apparently. Your boyfriend who harbors a grudge, I guess your friend who's a guy, bad translation there. In Russia, the military is more of a Brokeback Mountain type situation. It's like the National Guard, but you gotta get good at licking your hand and making it happen.
Tail gunner means something special.
It's very different. It's a very, very different position. We'll put it that way. It is a position over there, but it's a different position.
Is. Yeah.
Totally different one. So he says, where is it? Oh, your boyfriend harbors a grudge, can push you into a mine, and you will return home legless and disabled. Nobody wants this. No shit. Yeah, that seems. So if you're with one of your buddies and they are upset with you for something, they can shove you into a landmine, which is a terrible way to frag somebody.
We used to shoulder check people into the wall walking down the hall.
The locker. Pow.
Locker.
Doink, makes a cool noise.
That, he likes.
Yeah. Something like
Not
that.
Not
a landmine. And then you go, dick, how do you like that with no legs now, motherfucker?
Took you left, didn't it?
It'll teach you to steal my French fries when I go to the bathroom.
I shove you into a mine.
Holy shit. He said, in Karabakh, I worked for several months as a military instructor already outside the Soviet army. I do not want to name the side, too painful a topic.
Oh.
Who knows? You got to be I have no idea about.
Yeah.
I'm not that much of a student of Russian geopolitical fucking matters, so I'm not sure what was going on, what side he's talking about. He said some youths who have not been fired, who had not been fired upon, came and died. What? So nobody shot them, but they came and died. Boom! Oh God! Drained, fell to the floor, drained of all energy. What the hell's up?
Do that?
I don't know what
There's
the
an
fuck.
animal that does that.
Yeah. Bees, I think they'll
Yeah, I don't know.
fucking drop. Yeah.
Yeah, they live to breed.
Too painful. Okay, wow. And new ones were brought in their place. War is war. So many years have passed, and the end of the conflict has not been put. They still shoot and die.
Is that a Russian thing that they just throw bodies at shit?
Yeah, absolutely.
Hundreds and thousands of bodies, they just throw them.
World War II was the way they kept the fucking Nazis at bay was to absolutely shovel bodies on the fire. I mean, they were just fucking
overwhelming.
If you just throw 40,000 people and march them toward that way, it's gonna take a while for the Nazis to kill all those people, right, which will hold them up. So basically, it's a delay tactic. Just kill all these guys. That's what they did. You look at the numbers. As many Russians, I believe, died in that war as all the rest of everybody put together.
Is that
so?
Right?
I want to say it's 50 million people that died, and it was 25 million from the rest of the world and 25 million from Russia. They just shoveled
like
fucking
a bad
bodies.
Plan.
It's, I guess, better than being fucking under Hitler. I mean, you're under Stalin, so that's not much better.
What's
but
the difference, right?
Yeah, it's slightly, but it's still that's the devil you know is better than the devil with a Hitler mustache, I suppose. Yeah. Right? Isn't that how the saying goes?
I think that's exactly it.
Devil you know is better than Hitler, I think, is how the saying goes. I thought so. I think my grandfather used to say that one. Well, the devil you know is better than Hitler. And I'd be like, oh, okay.
That might be just as truthful.
Yeah, I mean, it is true. Whatever you got, probably better than Hitler, you know? Oh, my God. Better than Hitler is going to be the name of this episode. So,
that's a fine line there to draw.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard not to be better than Hitler. It really is.
You really got to work.
And especially when you really look into World War II, you're like, wow, what a dick. Not only just the horrible things that we know of, atrocities and Holocaust and all that sort of thing, but he was a douchebag also. Yeah. Like when you really...
And then when it's all found out and all the facts come to light, the cowardice. Oh, yeah. The absolute cowardice.
Well, he was just a crackhead. The last 4 years of the war, he was just a crackhead.
But why pull all that shit if you're not going to own it? You know what I mean? Like at that point,
Jimmie, because he's a fucking narcissistic maniac. That's why. He's a narcissistic psychopath. That's why. You can't see that. And he kept himself so fucking insulated that he didn't hear bad things. He thought, and even when he heard slightly bad things, his doctor would give him opiates and inject him, and then he'd think everything was great, and he'd go out there and tell everybody that they were going to win the war. And they were like, is he fucking, what is wrong with this guy?
What is he, high?
He's high. That's what's wrong with him. Read Blitzed. It's a book about, they got a hold of, finally, it took forever to get a hold of it, but they got a hold of Hitler's doctor's journals.
Whoa.
So it has everything that he gave Hitler, all the drugs and what dosages, what day, his whole diaries with his journals.
Holy shit.
Dude, he was giving him speedballs by the end of it.
He was just flying.
In 1944, he was getting coke meth opiate fucking mixtures. Coke meth morphine basically mixture together. He was getting those injections multiple times a day.
Every day.
He's just a fucking crackhead. It's all he was a crackhead. And like
unbelievable.
He'd call the doctor in the middle of the night with like bullshit excuses. He was like
because he's itching.
Because exactly. He was a total crackhead. He was just your standard brand crackhead.
Yeah, his blood itches and he's throwing up. Come over.
Yeah. So There you go. He was
fascinating. But even everybody that was around him, the cowardice, the fucking,
absolutely.
the running, own it, you fucking bitch. How dare you?
Nope, not a lot of them did, man. Not a lot of them
Stand up
did.
like a man.
Read The Nazi and the Psychiatrist. You got to see exactly how they all reacted when they got caught. The ones who didn't kill themselves, they were all in the same place, and this guy
went to like Venezuela or some shit.
No, they were all in Europe still. It was still in Europe. Yeah, I think it was Austria.
There was a bunch that went down to like Argentina.
Oh, they ran away, though.
That.
They escaped. No, these were people that were caught, I'm talking about. So they had all the ones that were tried at the Nuremberg trials. This psychiatrist oversaw them at the prison. Yeah.
And then after that, they caught a bunch down in South America somewhere. And
they
those
fled all over the world.
Even them. Yeah. The fucking, after they're caught and they're in court, like just the cowardice.
Crazy. What's his name?
Absolute pussies.
I think it was Hess, maybe, that was the one that was out like in the fucking. He just went up in the mountains and pretended to be a portrait painter under a different name, like still in Germany though. Like
another one went and was a farmer in fucking like Argentina and went by a different name.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot of them.
How dare you?
Yeah, pussies.
How fucking dare you?
Think about what they did.
Conflict.
What they did, and that doesn't surprise me. They're a bunch of pussies.
World conflict. Stand up and own it, man.
Nope. No.
Wow.
The Japanese were totally different than the way the Germans handled it.
Yeah, you're
Not
right,
the German
right.
people. I'm talking about the leadership.
Yeah,
obviously.
the leaders. Yeah.
So either way, that doesn't matter here. Somehow we got off on there. Devil you know is better than Hitler. Let's just put it that way. Let's
awesome.
Put a cherry on it. So
it's really good. That's a shirt.
It's got to be a shirt, right?
The conversations that will start.
Yeah, what the fuck? I mean, they're saying something's better than Hitler, I guess. No picture of Hitler on there. You can't have that. Maybe with like a Ghostbusters thing through it. Like no Hitler, you know.
The devil you know is better than ... with just the jowls of Hitler with the stash.
Just a mustache up there? No. Nobody wants Hitler on their shirt in any way, shape, or form, I feel like. You can't put Hitler on a shirt.
Don't have to have the haircut, just that mustache.
Well, everyone knows the mustache. People just hoping it's Charlie Chaplin. Let's really hope he's a big silent film fan, because this is...
The devil you know is better than Chaplin.
People are like, I don't understand that reference,
shirt,
but cool, man.
He did walk funny.
Yeah, I guess he was kind of goofy. Whatever. He did fuck that young girl, so yeah, fuck him. Yeah.
All of them. A lot of them.
Yeah, he was into that. But back then that was like acceptable societal behavior, which is strange.
So bizarre.
They were like, she bleeds monthly. What's the problem? That's how they would handle it back then.
I think one of them didn't.
Oh, I'm sure he was a pervert.
Pretty sure it was 13 or 14. Way too.
He was a pervert. Yeah, big time pervert. Charlie. So, Novoselov, after he did these military training and returned from an unnamed war that he doesn't want to talk about because it's too painful, who knows what he's doing.
Or shameful.
Well, he began to participate in underground street fights.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, like hardcore, like blood sport type fights we're getting into.
He hasn't had enough of killing.
He needs. He's got a bloodlust, this guy. Yeah. He just does.
And a hands-on style. That's even crazy.
Yeah. They would gather apparently on deserted beaches or in sand quarries to have these fights. They just go out to the middle of nowhere where nobody was and just have these fights. There'd be groups. They'd all put up, all these different groups would have fighters that they would put up. And then the point was they'd all bet on that guy. And then you try to make money. So these are bare-fisted, by the way. This is no, little UFC gloves or anything. This is just
not even a ring.
No, just crazy Russian guys standing atop a quarry beating the shit out of each other while other people bet on it. There's no medical staff. There's no anything like that. They would, there's a lot of knockouts with bare-fisted fights, or they'd choke people out. It was fucking crazy. I don't know what that means. The organizers would make money on bet. There's something about the object of desire was the 8. I don't know what that means. I don't know. I don't get that. The organizers made money on bets, and there would be, obviously, they would charge money then for people to come watch. It was a total fucking kumite situation. So people didn't even know who they were fighting. You wouldn't know your opponent until you stepped into the circle to fight them. That's crazy. Wow. So you can't train for them. He said Max said usually it's a guy about the same size as you. They kind of match you up by size. Yeah.
Have you ever gotten a message out of the blue? Maybe you ignore them. Or maybe you end up in conversation. Maybe they tell you about an amazing offer. I can really show you how to make some money. And maybe that gets you into a lot of trouble. But this isn't a story about people like you, the people receiving these messages. This is a story about the people behind the messages, on the other end of the line. Thousands of them, working in a microcity built for scammers. From Wondery, the makers of Dr. Death and Kill List, comes Scam Factory, a new series about survival at the expense of others. Follow Scam Factory on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Scam Factory early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts.
Behind the closed doors of government offices and military compounds, there are hidden stories and buried secrets from the darkest corners of history. From covert experiments pushing the boundaries of science to operations so secretive they were barely whispered about. Each week, on Redacted, Declassified Mysteries, we pull back the curtain on these hidden histories. 100% true and verifiable stories that expose the shadowy underbelly of power. Consider Operation Paperclip, where former Nazi scientists were brought to America after World War II, not as prisoners, but as assets to advance U.S. intelligence during the Cold War. These aren't just old conspiracy theories. They're thoroughly investigated accounts that reveal the uncomfortable truths still shaping our world today. The stories are real. The secrets are shocking. Follow Redacted, Declassified Mysteries on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Redacted early and ad-free right now on Wondery Plus.
He said the big difference, 40 kilograms, meant that, if somebody had 40 kilos on somebody, that's over 80 pounds. So
that's a lot.
That's a lot. They said that somebody who was really good could actually kill people, here. Yeah. He said, quote, 4 times I saw how the guys got into the throat or temple and they died.
4 times I watched people die.
In this fighting. He said the bodies were thrown there in the quarry. They
left them there?
They just toss them in the quarry. It doesn't matter over there. Yeah, they don't care. It's not even...
Oh, my God.
He said that if the fighter had friends, then they would resolve the issue with the police, maybe. And they would say to the police, though, that some unknown hooligans beat their friend to death. And that's that. They wouldn't say, like, we were in this fight and all that kind of shit. They go, I don't know, our friend and got jumped and now he's dead. Here he is. And just dump him on the doorstep of the police.
Why are his fists taped and why is he wearing...
Don't worry about that.
Right. Why do his shorts say on it?
It's Halloween, right? No, it's not. Fuck, this is Russia? Okay, never mind. He doesn't get cold. That's the thing. He doesn't like shirts. His hands,
he's wearing shorts that say tap out across the crotch.
He's very much afraid that if he doesn't tape his hands up, that his fingers will fall off. It's a weird thing. He's just got this. It's a phobia that he has. He's going to therapy for it, but I don't know. I don't get it.
He really got prepared for this jumping. This is wild.
This is crazy. Why does he have a casino's advertisement on his shorts? Why is that?
What is BetMGM.com?
I don't know what that. Yeah, what's going on here? Hey, I'm starting to get suspicious. I'm starting to get suspicious, man. So the 90s in Russia, too, got to set the scene of 90s Russia. It is a every man for himself fucking death race at that point. After the Soviet Union collapsed, Russia just spun into everybody was making money off of they had no regulation, so there's just financial scheme after financial scheme because they didn't have any of the shit set up for that or any of that shit. Crime was rampant, crime bosses, they were basically warlords that would run shit because they hadn't Because they didn't have a society.
Think about societal collapse and what would fucking unfold. That's what unfolded.
It comes to power at that point, and guns and money and bribery and shit like that. Imposing your will. It's not good. It's a civilization broke down completely over there. They would get McDonald's and now you could buy Levi's, but. Yeah. Also, you could be fucking robbed very easily on the way home and nobody would do anything about it. So it was.
And they will take your Levi's and McDonald's.
Exactly. That looks delicious. Give me those Levi's. Now, he, on the other hand, you could basically be a civil servant. Your options at that time, from what he said, were be a civil servant, work for the government, or rob people. Those are your options because everything else was a crapshoot and everything else was crime. Every business was crime, basically. Right. So he said, well, crime obviously seemed like the easy way out and easy money. Right. Later on, he'll say this, and this describes all of his shit here, and his fighting, his out of the ring, everything. Quote, you know what? Let's give him it in their own words. This is all of it. Jesus Christ. In their own words, quote, I'm not Bruce Lee, and I don't throw turntables. I don't know what that means. We'll get back to it.
Bruce Lee's a DJ?
Apparently. He's the hottest DJ out here. Bruce Lee scratching and cutting and blending tonight, baby. Holy shit.
Bruce Lee on the ones and twos, the hottest club in Moscow.
Come on. My rule is catch and break. It's scarier, and horror works better for people. I know that from stories on the street. In the 90s, I lived in St. Petersburg when he was still a bandit. There was a barrel in the glove compartment, an AK-47 in the trunk, a fee for the work done in the wallet. I'm sitting next to the station. There are gypsies right there, let's guess. Okay. While guessing, they pulled out the wallet. They run to their camp. I follow them. I had to communicate from a position of strength with their men. The gypsies thought I was a passenger until one of them got a gunshot in the leg. The blood is gushing. The man is yelling, exuding vibes of fear, and everyone around is terrified. I got my money back and made a notch in my head. I still use the intimidation technique, but only in the ring. So that's later on.
So he was robbed. He chased him down and shot somebody.
And shot him.
Shit back.
He said, "Wrong fucking guy, asshole." Yeah. And first of all, if you saw this guy, the last guy you would rob is this guy, because he doesn't look like he needs a gun. He looks like he would grab you if you pulled a gun out and twist the barrel into a pretzel knot, like in a fucking Bugs Bunny cartoon. That's what it looks like.
Zangief?
He kind of, yeah. The guy is a monster. He looks like a monster. He's fighting a bear, and you're like, which one is which? I swear to God, in this picture, if the bear was shaved down, you would not be able to tell who was who. So that's one of the things that happened. And then there was a showdown and a big incident that happened here. It's going to land him in prison for quite a long time. He said that they met in the evening, they met in the evening on the outskirts among the abandoned factory shops.
Who met?
Him and some people. I don't know. It's a Russian translation, so this is the best I got.
We don't know who they are.
He said they decided who would control the privatized warehouses. Diplomacy didn't work. He is the one. Sorry, that's an off-air conversation we were discussing. That's so funny. Well, there's a third way you can use it.
There's another way to use it, yeah.
Perfect. Okay. That's hilarious. When the boiling point in the negotiations was reached, one of Novoselov's opponents reached for a sports bag with a machine gun. So think about a movie with two rival gangs of thugs coming in with their, fucking thigh-length leather jackets on. And they're negotiating in a big warehouse, and things get tense, and somebody reaches into a sports bag to pull out a machine gun. So we've all seen this movie.
Because conversations just broke down.
It's broke. This is the usual suspects scene. Someone's going to flick a cigarette, and it's all going to go off here. So Max dropped him to the ground with a leg sweep, drew his weapon then, and fired several bullets into his head.
In his head.
So he just pop, and ended that guy real quickly. Think that's it? Then he shot the other bandits.
Oh, Jesus.
It says here, quote, on reflexes as taught in the Army. And only then he asked himself the question, why? He just reflexively killed everybody. That's what he does. Oh, shit, that happened. God, fuck again? God damn it. I ruined Christmas last year. The whole family's dead. I killed Grandma so fast, everyone didn't even know what to do. Lightning speed.
Did it again.
Reflexes. Him standing there with all these down bodies. Not again. No.
I thought there was a
no
gun
more.
in there.
It's just a sandwich. He's got like an Italian combo in there, wrapped in saran wrap. Got like a thermos of alphabet soup. He's like, oh, shit.
You guys are done talking? All right. Well, I'm just going to sit here and drink this.
Drink this soup. Yeah, it's still
noodles.
soup. It's a good thermos. It kept it warm. I'm not going to fucking let it go to waste. So 4 people were injured and 2 died out of this group.
Jesus.
So he murdered 2 people in the middle of a crime deal.
6 people caught bullets.
Yeah, he said, quote, I opened fire first. I think it was necessary. We would not have parted in peace, not at all. If I didn't shoot, they would shoot me.
Okay.
I mean, well, yeah, that's why you don't put yourself in situations where you're having a warehouse negotiation showdown with another gang, because someone could get shot, stupid.
Yeah.
That's the main reason why. So he goes to court. He was tried in Samara, and the prosecutor's office demanded the death sentence.
Oh.
Okay, but Russia was trying to get into the Council of Europe, and so they were trying to reduce the number of executions they did. Because Russia, besides us, Russia is we're second place in imprisonment in the world. In terms of rates of incarceration. We're second place only to Russia, who shovels people into the fucking prisons like crazy over there. Yeah. So they ended up, the humane court, which is, I guess, where you go after regular court to see if you deserve humanity. They reduced the execution. They replaced the execution. I guess you can't reduce an execution. We're going to almost kill you. We're going to shock you, but
mostly dead.
Yeah, it's not quite the voltage that you would need.
We're going to put you on that table that Prince Humperdinck had, where you will be mostly dead.
Mostly dead. But they replaced it with, you, sir, may fuck off 14 years in prison. 14 years.
7 years a body. That's not bad.
It's not bad at all. He said, quote, in prison, I saw enough of former suicide bombers, because that's all the Chechen rebels and shit like that. Yeah. There's a lot of suicide bombings going on. He said that one guy got into his head before death, you must definitely eat a chocolate bar. Okay? This is his theory. Chocolate before death. He said that sweets produce hormones of joy, and therefore it won't be so scary to die if you've just eaten a chocolate bar, because all of your shit in your brain will be going off. All your sensors will be happy. So you won't be sad as you're murdered. That's
Snickers.
That's how sad Russia is. You got to think, before somebody murders me, what should I do to be happy as I go out? Because it's going to happen. Someone's going to shoot me. So before that happens, what should I do?
Somebody throw me a whatchamacallit.
Wow, that's fucking bleak. Who's got a Kit Kat? I'm about to croak. Is the weirdest fucking thing ever.
Wow.
I've never. They said that an executioner named Terminator came for the suicide bombers.
Holy shit. What
nicknamed
does he do?
Terminator. He's a fucking executioner.
Yeah.
How does he do it, is what you're getting at?
Yeah.
Probably with a giant axe, I'm going to say. Just a big axe. And not necessarily your head coming off either. Just
a big Gallagher sledge-o-matic.
Sledge-o-matic. Put him on there. He's got the hat and the suspenders. Hi, everybody. I'm going to say a bunch of shit that isn't funny for 45 minutes, then splatter a watermelon on you, you dumb fucks that paid $40 for this. Ha, 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 ha. And now the richest man in the world. And then he... Sorry.
The witnesses all have fucking ponchos on.
Yeah, that's what they all do. And they cheer. People are going, what are they cheering for? They just smashed something. Who cares? And they're like, yeah! He told 3 bad jokes and then did that. He's a fucking genius. A genius. And by the way, we know Gallagher just died, and he's one of the guys I'm going to say. I know there's a lot of people who like, oh, when I was a kid, my parents watched.
Oh, I loved watching him as a kid.
He was one of the people who nobody in comedy has one fucking nice thing to say about. Not one. Not any comedian. He treats people like shit. He was an asshole to people. He was a fucking misogynist. He's a fucking racist. He was a fucking asshole. Nobody liked him.
My favorite thing is, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, please.
My favorite story that I read on Twitter afterwards was that he would approach comics afterwards and give them pointers of how to make them better. But they were like, just bad advice.
Yeah, I heard
he would
give people jokes. Terrible, like uncle jokes, like bad office jokes.
He told one guy you should take a basketball up there for no reason at all. He's like, what?
Why?
Just have it under your arm and tell your jokes.
Dribble it on your punchline.
I think Gallagher just liked fucking with people.
Yeah, nobody likes him though in the business. I've heard from a guy that we both know who has been in this business a long fucking time and ran clubs and everything else, and can find something nice to say about every comic, even ones that we know that they've had to run around and get drugs for and shit.
Yeah.
Had just said what a piece of shit Gallagher was. And he's like, what a fucking disrespectful asshole. What a piece of shit. And I've never heard him say a bad word about anybody except for Gallagher.
That's what I think. I truly believe that Gallagher just was like, I don't have a career anymore. And people
sold
recognize
it. He sold his career to his brother.
Yeah.
His brother was
right?
doing it. Yeah, his brother was doing his act.
I think he was just done, so he just started fucking with people. I think that's what he did.
Douchebag. What a fucking tool.
It's fucking amazing, though.
So the Terminator came for this.
Just to not care at all, just to be willing to give away your everything and just let people know you as a fucking piece of shit.
As an asshole. Who's a dickhead to other comics? Yeah, what a terrible
Maybe
life.
That's the plan. Maybe that's the fucking business model of this is make enough money to where you don't have to work anymore and then just be a piece of shit.
But you don't have to be.
You don't have to.
That's the thing. You don't have to be. I can't be afraid of Terminator anymore because now I'm picturing him with fucking striped shirt and suspenders and
Rainbow
a stupid
suspenders.
Kangol hat on. Now I'm picturing that and his pants too short. Hi, guys.
And the Kangol hat is just to cover up this horrible hair.
Looking like a fucking kid toucher. If you saw that guy in the park, would you let your kid go anywhere near him?
No, God,
Fuck no.
God, no.
Hell no. Stay away from that man.
Giant pants, tiny shirt, and rainbow suspenders.
No.
Go away.
Go away. Stupid smile. No. So that's Terminator. He's Gallagher. Comes in with his big sledgehammer.
I want that so bad.
He was described by Max as a tall, scary man. So if Max says you're tall and scary, you're scary. He said he looked down at the prisoners and dryly threw to someone. I don't know what that means. Oh, he'd say, let's go. He'd just say, let's go when it was time for you to die. There was no like, what's your last meal? Let's bring your mom in. He just comes in and he goes, let's go. And you have to go and he's going to kill you now. Put head on thing. So, hold on. I have to do something first. So the other day, I'm in grocery store, right? Lady in front of me pull out checkbook. I'm like, why you pay with check? Why not go to bank first? Now we all have to wait for her bad planning, right? Right? Okay, I smash. Now you cheer. Yeah, I got them back. I got the audience back.
A wave of blood and brain matter.
If your punchline is smashing a watermelon, that's pretty easy. So he said that the people he knew understood that it was a one-way path, that you were going and not coming back. He said, every day my friend trembled as he listened to footsteps in the hallway. This is the coffee, the chocolate bar guy did that. Yeah. And then one day the cell door opens and on the threshold of the Terminator, Gloomy looks at him and is silent. I guess that's his friend. The boy turned pale, ran to the bed to look for a chocolate bar, but fainted from horror. He went to slam.
Where's my Hershey?
He's like Danny DeVito and fucking. He's like Frank and Always Sunny, slamming down a can of cat food before he passes out real quick. Oh my God, this is all fucking horrible.
Yeah, that's what you imagine the worst place on earth is like.
So this guy's just laying on his back with a Mr. Goodbar on his chest, fucking unable to eat it, passed out. And he said the Terminator just walked over and dropped a piece of paper on him that said they replaced the execution with a 15-year prison term. So he didn't even die.
You're not dying.
Just
you
threw
don't
the
even need that crackle.
He woke up and he's like, "What?" And Max is eating the crackle, just going, "How's it going?"
We got good news.
I saw you at a special dark, but I don't eat that shit. That's gross. I want the crackle. I took the good bars, too, because I like peanuts.
Good news, bad news. I'm eating your chocolate. That's the bad news.
Sorry about that.
The good news is you don't even need one anymore.
You're good. Yeah. I could need it soon. So they said in prison he continued to participate in underground battles because they had big prison fight clubs. They would pay them with prison cryptocurrency. They had their own prison.
Wow.
Yeah. Crypto is always a Russian thing. That's, because they had to figure out ways to sell fucking arms to people and not have it be traceable and shit. So
we need something that doesn't exist.
That's what that does. Hey, let's get. Jesus Christ. And people in this country are like, I want it to be untraceable. When I go buy a dirt bike, I don't want Uncle Sam to be crawling up my ass on it. It's like, no. That's not. No, we do that so people can't sell nuclear missiles to somebody who lives in a cave. That's what we're trying to avoid here. And never mind. Fuck it. You know what? Sell whatever to whoever. I don't fucking care anymore. Don't care.
I don't need Uncle Sam crawling up.
What are you using? Fucking
about my dirt bike.
Some shit you made on MS Paint? Fine. I don't care. That's money now? That's money now? Great. Cool.
Great. Nice. Now your chimp rides a dirt bike.
Yeah. You like that? So he said they paid them with that, but actually cryptocurrency in prison meant just contraband. Contraband.
Yeah. Oh,
that's
okay.
all.
Yeah.
That was what they called cryptocurrency because that means not real. Right. So that's
the value placed on these noodles.
In that thing. Exactly. Well, track suits, shit you can't get in prison. Track suits.
Oh.
Fur boots. Got to have fur boots, Jimmy. You ain't shit unless you got fur boots on.
In prison?
Yeah. Who is this?
Fascinating.
Fucking Isaac Hayes in the mid-70s? Who are they? Who's in this prison? And rabbit hats. Got to have rabbit hats.
I imagine
it's
that's
cold.
Warm, though. Yeah. I love that.
Not a lot of money, though. They said that for the opportunity to get things from the outside, they would, they beat each other to death over there. The conditions were horrible in this fucking prison. Fights were organized in the evening. They would have, shadowy little nooks of the prison and industrial workshops they'd have in there. So like Tango and Cash, like a picture like a workshop with sparks going and two sweaty, shirtless Russian men fucking fighting each other and people cheering and a pair of furry boots as the reward. What a scene, man.
That's a fascinating outfit. That sounds like Westbrook at a fucking news conference.
Yeah. No shit. It is. It's Cam Newton at a fucking
game.
Yeah.
Fur boots, a tracksuit, and a rabbit hat.
He just started dressing like Craig Sager, and it was like, what's happening? What are you wearing now? So he said, quote, in the zone, the rates are higher. The prisoners do not see the price of money. Okay, he said previously food and clothing were the currency, but now virtual rubles are in use. So now they do use cryptocurrency, which can be transferred to a phone or web money number, which is another thing they have in prison is like these electronic accounts because they have that in some prisons in America too, where they can basically give each other cards for things and it's as good as cash. He said there was a lot of wealthy people in prison because, they were trying to get bribes from these people. That's what it was. That's how it did back then. And also wealthy people because they were crime lords.
Right.
And
society collapsed. Right.
They had all sorts of pyramid schemes and financial schemes and all that shit. They looked at whatever we did in the 80s and they were like, do that now. It's okay. And they did all that shit. They said that there was a lot for financial crimes, he said, but there was a lot of also, hard-ass people in there. So the first couple years behind bars, he said he resolved any issues he had with anybody through a position of strength. I beat the shit out of anybody who I had a problem with. He says he never realized the value of life and the prospect of getting out on parole. He never really thought about it. So for cruelty, beating people unmercifully, the court sent him to the prison regime a couple of times, which is a zone within a zone that's popularly called the covered area. And it says there's 15 of them in Russia. This is like a supermax for the worst of the worst they'd send him to. And I guess there's 15 of these, and they said the most dangerous and notorious recidivists get sent here. This is the
worst people.
The worst of the worst here. They said that they would get, in these fights in prison, they try to get a decent lineup of like serious wrestlers, boxers that were really good, actually, former special forces guys that were great at hand-to-hand combat and all that kind of shit. He says, quote, "The strength is above the law there, and there are even more fights than in a normal zone. Only at stake is not the currency, but the status and significance. I showed myself on the good side there. I was probably the strongest fighter." So they had these fights there, not even for shit, just for bragging rights of being the best of the worst person, the toughest of the worst people there are.
That's a TV show. Let's go, Amazon.
That's what I mean. Somebody put that Hulu, where are you? Netflix, put it together.
Put that shit on TV.
Holy shit. A lot of the people didn't like him in prison because they said, other prisoners said he was too brutal and dangerous, and they were scared around him, basically.
Bad people thought he was too bad.
Too mean. And so he ended up being like kind of a marked man. He had a lot of people pissed off at him because he would be fucking people up all the time. So he was always worried about getting attacked from behind. He set up booby traps in his cell, so in case people tried to come get him while he slept, fishing lines with alarm, all that kind of shit. He said that he had a nice sharpened up toothbrush that he kept with him all the time to stab somebody, one of that sort of thing. And he said that he took place in a riot there as well.
Of course he did, yeah.
He goes, okay, here's one here. I don't know what this means. If anybody knows what this means, I'd love to know. Muscovites were brought to the zone. Okay, this is when he's in the shoe, basically, here, in the hardcore one. Muscovites were brought to the zone who did not share their interests with Urals and Siberians. Okay, different sects of Russians is what we're talking about here. It all started with a one-on-one fight, and after a half hour, they fought 10-on-10. Imagine fighting for a straight half hour.
One-on-one, and then everybody else jumped in because it's taking too long.
Not everybody. Starts with one-on-one, then goes to 10-on-10 after that. Then, after 10-on-10, he says soon, GUFSIN, which is probably one of these prison units of the cops or something, brought OMON. These are in capital letters too, so they mean something. Yeah, and internal troops into the territory to somehow calm down the prisoners. So they had to. Yeah,
because now it's a fucking riot.
Yep, he said about 400 people from both sides participated in the riot, so it turned into a mass riot. Stones, iron pieces from beds, and stools were used.
Yeah, that's a fucking prison riot.
Fucking riot. I saw a man who had a stool stuck in his head. In
now
his
he's
head.
Brick from fucking
in his head.
Anchorman.
Yeah, stool
man
stuck.
Got caught on fire, and I stabbed a man with a trident
in his head. A stool.
Wow.
You know how hard you have to hit someone with a stool to stick it in their head.
Yeah, there's like a story of a tornado that threw a piece of straw through a wall. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's what this is. It's so fucking unbelievable. A stool through
your head. That's wild. He walked with him like that until he died. A week later, stools with sharp edges were banned. Maybe they should have never had sharp edges in prison. What do you think? Maybe? Holy shit.
In the worst of the worst, you put anything sharp in there?
What the fuck, man? 2003, he's released. Okay? He's released from prison on parole, and he was trying to figure out what's going on. At this point, there's large organized crime groups sprouting up everywhere.
Sure. Yeah.
Taking over everything here. So, again, underground fights and quarries aren't around anymore. Now they actually have tournaments.
Right.
The same guys
Thanks,
that were
Dana White.
in the quarries were here. So that's what they were doing. He said, in prison, I watched the fights on the TNT channel and videotapes. They had TNT in Russian prison. How does that work?
Turner Network Television?
Turner Network Television, I assume, or it's some Russian thing. It's actually TNT. It blows up if you don't watch what they want you to watch. I don't know. And videotapes. He said, I noticed that the technique had changed. A clear set of rules had appeared. Yeah, there's rules now. You can't murder a man and throw him in a quarry. You actually have to. A referee is a big addition to that.
They stopped fight at one point.
Yeah, they stopped fight. A week after his release, he's fighting for money here, as we'll talk about, for St. Petersburg for some MMA tournament where he replaced an injured athlete here. April 10th, 2004. Now, there's different sites that have different amounts of fights that he has, but some of them aren't really like sanctioned properly. So we're going to go with the SureDog listings, which gives him like 14 fights or some shit. I can't remember. So very quickly, we'll go through these because I didn't see any of this shit. April 10th, 2004 at M1 MFC mix fight. He fights Milko Vorn, Voorn. It's a second round decision. It's only a 2-round fight, and he loses by decision. So he's 0-1.
Yeah.
That's 2004. August 20th, 2005 is his next, fully sanctioned fight. Yeah. This is in Russia as well, versus Everett Fayette, Fyeet, Fayet. This is a TKO win for him in the first round for Max, so 1-1. August 29th, 2008, 3 years later.
What?
Yeah, August 20th, 2005, August 29th, 2008, 3-year window. What's he doing for 3 years?
You got to let that win simmer, James.
Well, he had a big dinner, so I'll let that settle. This is in Perm, Russia. Very curly. He fights Carmelo Molina, and it's a TKO loss, so he's 1-2. November 6th, 2008, so he's sticking with it now. Yeah. He fights Telman Sharifov. This is a draw. So he's 1-2-1. He's one lost and drawed in his last 3 fights. So
he's not good at this.
He's not doing great. Well, like you said, the technique had changed. He's trying to figure it out. Plus,
there's rules and shit.
Yeah, not to mention he's almost 40 also. So it's kind of a weird time to start MMA fighting professionally when you're 40, 37 years old in 2010. Because his next fight's in 2010. It's a year and a half later, May 6th. This is at the World Academy of Sambo in Nitsy in Kostovo, Nitsy, Novgorod Oblast, Russia.
Wow.
Yeah, I had to read that all out because it's a long name. He fights Vlad, of course, Abulutov. It's probably Abulutov. This is a submission win with a north-south choke, and that's what it's listed as. It's 2-2 for him.
He was hip-hop's biggest mogul, the man who redefined fame, fortune, and the music industry.
The first male rapper to be honored on the Hollywood Walk of Fame, Sean Diddy Combs.
Diddy built an empire and lived a life most people only dream about.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so.
Yeah, that's what's up.
But just as quickly as his empire rose, it came crashing down.
Today I'm announcing the unsealing of a 3-count indictment, charging Sean Combs with racketeering conspiracy, sex trafficking, interstate transportation for prostitution.
I was up. I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. I'm disgusted. I'm so sorry.
Until you're wearing an orange jumpsuit, it's not real. Now it's real.
From his meteoric rise to his shocking fall from grace, from law and crime, this is the rise and fall of Diddy. Listen to the rise and fall of Diddy exclusively with Wondery Plus.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this White Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head,
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.
So he talks about Japan here at this point, because he's 2-2-1 now. He says, in Japan, I was given the nickname Mad Max for 2 reasons. Jesus.
1, my name is Max.
1, my name is Max. 2, they're not real good at English, so that's the first thing they came up with. He said, firstly, I had a habit of strangling my opponent on the ground while simultaneously breaking his arms. Jesus Christ.
What is it? How does he do that?
That sounds horrifying.
That's a giant
How the fuck do you... Well,
one hand a man's neck, and
in Russia we have 3 arms. American soft people have no 3 arms. That's only thing. He said that. Secondly, I did not allow myself to be thrown for money. Meaning he wouldn't throw fights for money. He wouldn't allow the fixes to be in. They paid $5,000 to $7,000 for fights, but sometimes the promoters disappeared with the money. Well, that's. Welcome to comedy and boxing and wrestling and any
performance for pay.
Music. Well, welcome to performing, pal. He said, if this happened, I found them and beat out the fee. I bet you did. I bet you beat out more than the fee.
Unbelievable.
The next morning, I was returning to my homeland on the plane as not to thunder in jail. So he'd escape to not be arrested. So, he said that, now he said at one point he became, or this article says that at one point he became the European champion, but I don't have the listing for that, and winner of the World Cup in combat sambo.
What is it?
I don't know. He said,
trust him at his word, I guess.
Here's one of the dozen battles, he said, that happened in Turkmenistan that's especially memorable, because every time you go to Turkmenistan, it's not memorable. He says, quote, weird show. The organizers laid a carpet, and instead of the corners of the ring, they put burning torches. That's weird, I would say, yeah.
What?
Instead of putting, like, corners up, they had, like, a burning torch as your ring post, I suppose.
That is frightening. That feels like we're about to do some seance or something.
It sounds like you're in Turkmenistan and something weird's going to go down here. You're about to be taken to a black site and ask questions about ISIS. I feel like.
Or a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie is being taped after this.
This whole thing is Kumite. This whole thing is Bloodsport. We fought at dawn. Why fight at dawn? Why not a different time of day? How about sunset? It's a nice color. Everybody throwing those nice orangey purple things going on. Sunrise. Who fights at dawn? Each fighter represented one or another competing clan. There were Babasai sitting around the carpet. I don't know what that is. Babais. I don't know what that is. Sitting around the carpets. Families. 50 people each. Families watching Bloodsport? Yeah. I remember that I won easily, but not that sparklingly. The dew kept the carpet damp and the fight expectant. Well, yeah, it's the morning. That's why you don't do shit at dawn. It's dew.
Belly full of fucking pancakes right now.
Jesus. I was afraid to fall and acted confidently without making sudden movements. In general, it's more convenient for me to fight in a cage than in a ring. Apparently, the prison past is taking its toll. I don't know what that means. So then he decides, what about showbiz? I'm kind of a crazy guy, right? What about showbiz? So he tried to produce pop groups. This guy trying to put boy bands together. You, very handsome, sing and dance. Good, we put out the record. Let's go.
Make it catchy.
Let's go. It has no hook. What's the hook? Huh? What's the hook? Make it about
like
the dance.
Earworm.
Yeah, like earworm. Make it the song, the name of a dance that the girls can do once they hear song. Do that. That worked very good. He said that where is this? Okay, yeah. He said then all he did was lose a bunch of money. So then he got
in pop. Yeah, that's
yeah. He said, I brought my project to the bride in a pretentious Moscow hotel. Oh, that's right. He's trying to do He's trying to do something else here. I don't know what he did, but he sold some sort of service to this wedding. Okay. So he said it's at a pretentious Moscow hotel where you're only allowed by invitation, which is pretty standard with weddings usually, as far as that I know, generally. Yeah. He said, in the hall, everyone is sweet, glamorous, and brio-lined. I don't know what that means. He says, they look at me from under their brows and quickly look away. And I look like a typical bandit, healthy and bald, so thick and bald, with a thick gold chain, rings, and a gold watch. I had to sit on the sidelines at a separate table so as not to embarrass anyone. 5 minutes later, Alla Borisonova comes in, looks coldly at the local public, comes up to me and asks, are you free? I told her, sit down, of course. He considered her a pretentious FIFA, F-I-F-A, and she is a clear and stern aunt. I don't know what the fuck this means. I don't know what any of this means, but if you're Russian, maybe you have any idea what that came from. So then he started being an instructor in private military companies and special forces type situations. Started being an instructor.
Training people.
He says, quote, Europeans are soft and weak. That's his first line. The most Russian thing he could say. Europeans weak and soft. He sounds like Nikolai Volkov talking about. Sounds like a wrestler from the 80s. It's fucking hilarious. He says, somehow my partner and I showed the Austrians contact work with edged weapons. After the first lesson, they packed their things and got on the bus. They told me, Max, you are very cruel. How can you beat each other with blunt axes during exercises? But sorry, it's your job. Russians react more easily. Behind the shoulders of the special forces are the army and hand-to-hand combat sections, rough men. They understand that the seminar can save them from the knife or help a civilian from a knife. Or help save a civilian from a knife. For the sake of someone's life, you can endure pain. Yeah, it's not this isn't like a thing that you do like on your lunch break when you work in an office to go like, I'm going to go train with my trainer and I'll be back like no, you're coming back with edged weapon wounds. So be careful.
But that's how you listen. You're not going to get tough unless I cut you.
That's what it is. Well, wait till you hear later on what happens. So
oh my God.
He's training somebody and it's weird that he has an accident with an axe. He ends up going back to jail. Goes back to the prison. The prosecutor's office accuses him of patronizing the drug business. So he's selling drugs, and he went back to jail. This time, you, sir, may fuck off. 3.5 years in jail again. Okay. He said, a complicated story. The court proved that I knew about the drugs. The first time they let me go right out of the courtroom, but the prosecutor's office immediately filed an appeal to a higher court. The process was covered in the media, so they could not lose face. It was a matter of honor to shut me down. So it's a guilty verdict against him and 2 other guys, a guy named Yuri and a guy named Ruslan.
Of course.
They were found guilty of committing daring crimes.
Wow.
Wow.
That means. It's very vague.
Daring. The Kurgan Regional Court announced the guilty verdict here, and they were found guilty of doing this in the city of Kurgan from 2008 to 2009. It was established in the fall of 2008. A group of people in a country house in the gardening partnership Gorgaz drank alcohol. During the feast, a quarrel broke out between them, as a result of which Sharbashev, I think that's one of the guys he is arrested with. Yeah, that's Yuri Sharbashev. And Novoselov severely beat 2 men. That's not surprising. After which, Novoselov set fire to the things lying around the victims and left the house and closed the door from the outside, locking it, leaving helpless people to die in a burning room. Oh, my God.
Beat men unconscious and lit the house on fire.
And then locked it from the outside.
Oh, my God.
That's fucking insane. Who does that? Who does that?
What did they call that? What was the crime?
Daring crimes.
That's a daring crime.
That's daring, all right, I would say. It said it should be noted that before the commission of the crime, the criminals robbed an elderly man, stealing a TV and food from his apartment. Come on, man. Jesus Christ. A few months later, his 2 cohorts there, again embarked on a path of crime. Having come to visit a neighbor of one of them while drinking alcohol on the basis of personal hostility, they beat the elderly owner, inflicting fatal stab wounds to his neck, and then stole things from his house.
Wow.
Holy shit. Maxim
Stabbed a man in the neck.
Oh, my God. Maxim was found guilty of committing these crimes under Paragraph D, Part 2 of Article 61, Paragraph A, Part 2, and of Article 105, Part 2, and of Article 167 of the Criminal Code of the Russian Federation, which is robbery, murder of two persons, and arson.
It's clearly not accepted by society.
That is not accepted by society.
We wrote it down.
He is found guilty of these things.
Yeah.
He beat them down and set shit on fire and locked it from the outside so they could burn to death. Do you know how crazy that is?
That's like the worst.
That's fucked up. They did that.
They weren't even dead. They were alive. And
that's what they did to John Wilkes Booth.
Yeah.
and he
had to kill a president for us to do that.
He fucking deserved it. Yeah, this is bullshit. Yeah. He is sentenced to, you, sir, may fuck off 19 years in prison.
For Booth and a guy.
two murders.
He Booth twice.
And then this is his second runaround, too. 19 years.
You can
Not
Booth
bad.
a man and get 19, I guess 8.5. What is it, 9.5?
That's all. It's all it is. So he's in there. He's in prison and trying to figure out his next move. What does he do? What's he going to do? More showbiz? More boy bands? Fighting isn't working.
He has the most fascinating life of all time.
Yeah, it's fucking crazy. So it gets even crazier because he's sitting there in prison and there's a shadow on the threshold again, as he says, and people think it's the Terminator, but it's not the Terminator. It's Vince McMahon. And he says... How is it you've come to arrive here? Oh, my God, you beautiful bastard. Look at you. Oh, God. Oh, my God. He sells drugs. He beats people to death. Are you hearing this? Where's Bruce Pritchard? He beats people to death. Hunter, he's beating people to death. Do you understand? Oh, my God, look at you. Tell you what. Do it for... Put these overalls on. Yeah, there you go. Put them on for me.
Do it for Daddy.
I tell you to get that shirt off, but you haven't owned a shirt in 5 years. That's okay. It's -8 degrees Celsius outside and you're shirtless, and I love it. I love it. Oh, God, look at you. I know what you're going to do. I'm going to talk to the people over here. Believe me. Me and the people in charge over here and in Russia, we have an understanding. We're the same type of folk, if you know what I mean. So I'll get you out of here, buddy, and we're going to take you somewhere where they're going to appreciate you. Oh, are they going to appreciate you? Oh, God, he's going to fight Brock Lesnar, and I'm going to come. Oh, my God. And poof, in a cloud of excitement and jizz, Vince McMahon disappears, and Max is very excited for his new career. He can't wait. He said, though, he gets out, he says, I did my time and paid for my sins. In the zone, he worked in a gym where he taught young guys. He said, yesterday's drug addicts is the way he put it. He taught them sports. So he said, my conscience is clear. Well, that's fair. You killed a couple people, burned them alive.
He's killed 4 people.
You taught some kids sports, though, Jimmy. It's okay. He taught sports. What does this man have to do to earn your forgiveness?
This is unbelievable.
What are you, made of fucking stone? He taught sports to some drug addicts. That's the same, right?
He's killed 4 people.
He's killed a lot of people, man. He has YouTube videos that are very, very, very popular. Was kind of an internet sensation for a while.
Really?
Because he would train people in prison and do training. They let him. There's pictures of him training in prison. There's fucking armed guards all around and shit. Training people with axes and hatchets. There's prisoners fighting each other with not fucking battle axes, man. Like
an actual murderer.
Like what came with He-Man, like one of those, a battle axe, like a He-Man accessory, and hatchets, like a big hatchet. Like they're going after each other. Murderers are doing this, and the cops are just standing there looking like, well, what's worse that could happen? They kill each other, and that's the end of it.
Unbelievable.
So there's all these videos of him training from prison they're out there. Look it up on the internet. They're everywhere on YouTube. So, he's in prison and he's, there he is. So he gets out, Jimmy. When do you think? First of all, he's killed all these people. They let him out in 2016.
What is that, 5 years?
He did like 5 years. He taught sports to drug addicts, though, Jimmy. What are you talking about? What's the fucking problem here?
He locked 2 unconscious men in a building and lit it on fire. 5 years.
And locked it from the outside.
Right.
No, he didn't say, like, maybe they'll stay unconscious and die. He said, that ought to kill them, and walked away. That's what he said. That'll burn them alive.
Holy shit.
So 2016, he's freed. He took 3.5 years he did.
Unfucking believable.
Jesus Christ. So then he starts doing some MMA. He did a tournament.
Kreiner got 9 years.
Yeah. 3.5. Burned 2 people alive while running a drug gang, by the way. So this is like, organized.
Shit.
Yeah, this is if you got a head of a drug gang who killed people with their hands and burned them alive, and you go, 3.5 years ought to correct everything. That ought to correct the problem. Holy balls. So he got in an MMA tournament and beat somebody and knocked him out cold, actually. Made a submission there. Yeah. So he was all excited. He ends up on September 9th to fight against an American named Jimmie Ambritz at the Tractor Theater in Chelyabinsk. Chelyabinsk. Sorry. So September 9th, 2016, Jimmie Ambritz, he wins by TKO in the first round with a doctor stoppage. So they come in. I didn't know they had doctors in Russia. That's strange, but okay.
He knocked the shit out of Jimmie.
Yeah, they had to stop. The ref didn't even stop it. So he's 3-2-1. April 22nd, 2017, so months go by. He fights at the Alliance Fighting Championships, Battle of the Titans. He fights Evgeny Sibakov and knocks him out in 30 seconds with a head kick.
Shit.
Jesus. Brings him to 4-2-1. April 30th, 2018, so a year later, not April 30th, 2017, at Fight Pro, Serichev Power Expo, Battle for Moscow.
Yeah.
Which sounds like a Call of Duty game, I believe. It really does. The Serichev Power Expo, Battle for Moscow, Call of Duty, fucking Black Ops, versus Igor Kuznetsov. Oh, Jesus.
It's so easy to make up a Russian name.
You can make off just an Av and a Nets and a Nuns and some Nuns shit going on. This is a knockout with punches in the first round, a win for him. 5-2-1. He's on a streak, baby.
He sure is.
May 4th, 2018, he beats Artem Shukin at the Professional Combat Sambo, the day of victory in the Great Patriotic War. That's the name of the card.
The Great Patriotic War.
Professional Combat Sambo, the day of victory in the Great Patriotic War.
Fascinating.
Don't know what that means, but he wins by a submission here, guillotine choke, at 53 seconds into the fight.
Give him credit. Very few people find their stride in a very physical thing in their late 40s.
At 45 years old? Yeah, it's rare.
Most guys buy a vet at this point in their lives.
Something.
Instead.
A brand new one, or like a fucking, they get a hairpiece, or they marry their secretary or something.
I'm going to choke more people.
I keep going to jail for choking people. Maybe if there's a way I can, legally, perfect. Next, he fights at Wolf Fights. That's the name of the card. Wolf Fights, which is September 8th, 2018. So he's fighting at least in the same year. Yeah, he did. He beat a gray to the ground. He beat Alexander Zakashov. Beats him. Next up, he's supposed to fight our guy, Vyacheslav Dotsik.
Is
next
right?
Up on his, for 2019, supposed to fight him. Novoselov challenged him. He said, I heard you on Crime and Sports. I beat you good. Now you guys can compete over who had the crazier episode. There you go.
Who do you root for in this? Do you root for them both to
at least Novoselov
punch each other in the head and they explode?
At least Novoselov isn't an open Nazi. So you know what? I'm going to go with the guy who's not hiling things, probably. Whoever's not hiling gets my fucking root. How's that?
Or beating prostitutes in the street.
Yeah, exactly. That's what he was doing there.
Yeah.
Dotzik, obviously. These two obviously have had some problems, though. But Maxim has some words about that. He says, quote, Dotzik has a similar path. Yeah, I'm glad you recognize that. Cool. Yeah. I have Crime and Sports episode someday also, and I look forward to it. James and Jimmie, please, go easy, guys, Hey, so I burn a guy, I burn two guys, I burn. So what? Come on. You don't know those guys. Very bad people. Why you make fun? You don't know. Not a Russian accent. I don't know what it is. So
close enough.
Something over there. I don't fucking know. He said he was also in prison, but he didn't break down. He says now Vyacheslav arranges more raids on brothels, nightmares of prostitutes, and shoots it on video. So he's calling him a jerk-off, basically. Yeah. He says, but he is a gladiator, and a gladiator must take on challenges and fight. I think Dotzik will agree when everything is in order with the law, when he stops getting in trouble. Otherwise, what's the point? Life has taught us not to hide from a good fight. So he's supposed to – he goes over for a tournament in Asia called the Aslan Challenge, and it's for an organization called Fight Championship Aslan. And they explain that they were talking. This is the guy who arranged it. He said, Aslan is a lion, and we have a lion everywhere. There is a lion on the belts, all symbols with a lion. That's why it's called Aslan. So now we know. Okay. So they signed a 2-fight contract with Dotzik, this organization, which is crazy to
put up with him twice?
To project him being sane and ready to do things in 6 months. That's crazy.
2 times in a row.
Yeah. It's supposed to take place at the Yatarny Sports Palace in Kaliningrad, and 7,000 people are going to come. 12 days before the fight, they still had 1,400 tickets left, but they sold over 5,000 tickets. So you're going to get
impressive.
You're going to get a walk up of that.
Yeah.
Day of, you're going to get a bunch there. So the audience, by the way, the poster says it's a 6+, so ages 6 and over. You can bring a 7-year-old to watch this. Come on, kids, a man might die tonight. Let's go. Well, if one of the guys loses, he might set us all on fire. Yeah, he might just lock the doors and blaze us up.
Run out and throw a mop handle through the handles of the door.
Who knows? He learned that in prison, kids. So they both take part in a True Gym Fights tournament on June 16th, which is just before the fight. It's like 2 weeks before it's supposed to happen. And Dotzik fought 2 opponents, and Maxim fought 3. Maxim finished without any injury, but Dotzik gets a broken jaw out of it. He gets his jaw broken, and so he won't be able to fight for at least 2 months, and the whole fight falls apart. We never get to see these two crime and sports legends go against each other here. He said, this is the promoter said, I can't understand. He has the main fight of the evening on June 29th. They were the main event, those two. He said, there's so many people who bought tickets here to watch this fight with Maxim. If it doesn't work, then we can cancel the contract. So they're going to shit-can Dotzik. He said, lawyers are working now. I thought that in Moscow I would fight him. Oh, this is Maxim. But most likely I no longer need his services. Oh, no, this is the guy. Okay, I repeat. He had the main fight of the evening, he says. And so he let down people who wanted to see him. I just have no words. They fought in some side tournament for money.
Yeah.
Somebody probably offered him $10,000 to go over there and put on a show for the day.
Somebody broke his fucking jaw.
Yeah.
And it ruined the fight.
That's right. So they're saying he's going to fight somebody else. Who knows? They have no idea who he's going to fight. They said that, quote, an unnamed Bulgarian will most likely come out against Maxim.
Oh.
An unnamed. So many Bulgarian references lately when I've never heard one ever. They said they want to bring fights to Moscow. Who cares? So he didn't get to fight Dotzik. He really wanted to punch Dotzik. I kind of feel bad for him with that. I mean, it's hard. He's a hard guy to feel bad for, but in this particular case, I kind of feel a little bad for him, but not nearly as bad
the fuck out of here.
As I feel for Maxim Novoselov, CPA. CP's a fucking accountant. His picture, he's just a dorky guy doesn't look like he'd fight you or hit you with an axe or anything. He went to the University of Texas.
Oh, he's American.
Well, I think he lives in Russia now.
He's here. Oh, he's in Russia now?
Yeah, a finance and reporting manager and CPA, and that's what he's doing. So there you go.
My life.
That's fucking hilarious. So instead, on June 29th, Max fights Alexander Alexic. Wow, the first 5 letters of his first and last name are the same. That's a trip. That's a trip.
Eyes?
Aleks is how they both start.
Oh,
Alexander Alexic. This is at Fight Championship Aslan, as we discussed. TKO in the first round, 1 minute, 10 seconds for Maxim here. July 2019, he's got this fighter who is... he's really, really fat. Looks like he weighs about 400 pounds. I don't know if he had a surgery or something, and he's trying to get into shape. So Maxim is working this guy, trying to get him into shape. and in this, of course, you need to break out, edged weapons to properly lose weight. You can't lose weight without edged weapons, Jimmy, clearly, obviously. That's the problem in this country. This is what we do. Weak Americans, we go on a diet and we expect weight to fall off. Edged weapons are the only way. So he's doing this. He was fighting with him. He ends up slicing his arm with an axe.
Cutting the guy's arm.
Maxim gashes this guy's arm open with a fucking axe. I guess the incident occurred when the two were swinging axes in each other's directions. Well, that's when it generally happens, which seemed harmless. When was two people swinging axes at each other ever seeming harmless, ever?
How?
In the history of mankind, how has that been
perfectly harmless to throw blades at each other?
This is this article. Until the Russian struck the shield of his training partner. The blade of the axe sliced through the shield and directly into the exposed skin of his right arm, instantly pouring with blood. It was one of those...
incredibly sharp shield.
Yeah, you had the shield on your forearm and went through it and got his forearm on the other side.
An incredibly sharp axe. It went through a fucking shield. Why is the axe so sharp?
What's what I mean? Have a blunt one. Well, what fun is that?
There's no danger in that.
Devil you know is better than Hitler, Jimmy. Put an edge on there. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
So his next fight he's talking about, he said, quote, I don't want the world's top league. Because he's talking about fighting, and they're talking about, hey, let's get you in with some big guy, have a big famous fight because you're kind of internet famous. Let's make you like Kimbo Slice. And he says, quote, I don't want the world's top league. I fight for my pleasure. I have enough money. Business is more than fighting. I'm preparing for the battle with Smolyakov in the usual mode. So he says, not even thinking about that shit. Don't care.
I do this for the love of the game.
I do this. I'm almost 50, and I like to get punched in the head for fun. That's what this guy said on a professional level by people half my age.
Shocking.
So he fights at the World Total Combat Federation 5 against Igor Kuznetsov. TKO with punches. He wins that fight. He fights Andrei Dragomaretsky, in MMA Series 22 Fighting Championship Pankration. We've had those before, Pankration. That's what Dotsic would fight in.
Right.
TKO with punches in 1 minute and 13. So these are all under 2-minute knockouts, so he seems like he just overwhelms you with punches until he finally beats you to the ground.
It's fascinating. Why would he not want to fight? Does he know that it's probably because he'll suffer the same fate as Kimbo. It'll be terrible. It'll be embarrassing for him. Yeah.
Why do it? And you have to train a different way for that.
Right.
He likes being this guy. Being this guy, different guy.
The whole idea of Kimbo being the underdog, but also the favored underdog. That's a big deal. But he got the fuck kicked out of him so many times.
He fights in prison, and he's from the special forces. He'd have a crazy story. He fights bears. He wrestles bears, Jimmy. There's things of him wrestling bears, which it could be a show bear like in wrestling they used to do. But when you add all the axes in, I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe it's not. Does he give a bear an axe? Imagine a bear with an axe. What's more terrifying than that?
Just duct tape it to his giant fucking
paws.
A bear's got several axes on his fucking paws.
Well, like a shark with a gun would be the only scarier thing than a bear with an axe, right? How does he use it? I don't know, man, but he's got it.
An AK to his dorsal.
Yeah, let him go. Next up, he fights, who is this? Ivan Visic here in Russia again, and he wins with a submission this time, an arm bar at 1:17 in the first round. These fights are not going a long time, which is probably good for him because he's a lot older than all these guys. Next up, MMA Series 47. He's the main event, fighting Adnan Alsik. Not Adnan Syed. He's fighting Adnan Syed.
Got his freedom, and he's using it.
He's using it, all right. He fights Adnan Alsik. This is a knockout at 2 minutes and 19 seconds for Maxim. Now, that's January 29th, 2022. March 2022, he is arrested again. And accused of rape this time. Now, Maxim, he says, I don't know what you're talking about. I think somebody put something in my drink that night, so I'm not sure what you're even talking about.
Hold on.
He said they were trying to rape me, actually, was the thing. I was drugged.
I just participated really hard? Is that what he said?
Really hard, yeah. This, by the way, it's an 18-year-old young lady that he's accused of raping here. He said he didn't know how the girl ended up with him at a Moscow karaoke club. He says he expressed confidence that something had been added to his alcohol and that he felt unwell at the club and asked the driver to take him home. On the way, he's detained by law enforcement officers. They pull him over and get him out, and this young lady was still in the car as well. And it is noted that he did not know, he says he didn't know about the presence of strangers in the car, and he says he didn't commit any illegal acts. Now, the young lady, Sofia Chekmareva, she called police while in the car and with him and his friends. According to her, him and his companions offered to give her a ride, and then Max raped her as soon as they got in the car and got the door closed. So this was March 27th of this year. He's put in jail. He appeals the arrest here. He appealed his arrest, and they said the court received an appeal against the decision to choose a measure of restraint. So they ended up letting him, March 28th, it was reported the court granted the investigators' request for a measure of restraint in the form of detention against the fighter. So he was, I believe, only going to be held, I think he was only held for 2 months on this charge, and then they let him go, and I don't know if there's a trial or if they just go, that's how Russian law works or what. I'm not sure.
I mean, he got 3.5 years for murder of 2.
That's what I mean.
So probably 2 months for rape then.
I don't know what the fuck is going on, man. So there you go. That is Maxim Novoselov. And
what if Cosby had pulled that shit?
That's what they pulled him out of a car while the girl was still there.
Like, I have been raped so many times, you guys.
Yeah, you have no idea. Jesus Christ.
Like 38 times. And I've just been going with it.
There's actually something in my drink, as a matter of fact. I think the girls put things in both our drinks. Yeah, that would have been Cosby's defense. So there he is. And like we said, that's kind of the new format. Something like that. See what I mean? Not a whole lot of sports and childhood, blah, 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 blah. But we hit the fucking high points and we hit them hard. And that's what we're going to give you. More condensed comedy show with highlights and all that kind of shit. So
I've had a great time today.
I've had a wonderful time today. And if you as well had a wonderful time, God damn it, get on, renew your love for the show, by the way, by getting on whatever app you're listening on. Give us 5 stars. It helps drive the show up the charts. It helps people notice it. Let's get crime and sports out there. Remember the crime and sports movement? God damn it, we're doing it again. We're starting it.
It's a good damn time.
We are. This is like, it's all new to us again, man. This is going to be so much fun. So get on there, give us 5 stars, say something nice about the show. It's not for our egos. It just helps the show, and we're gonna boost this son of a bitch back to where it belongs, son of a bitch bastards. Okay, that said, head over to shutupandgivememurder.com right now. Get your tickets to the live shows.
Yes.
2023. Full slate of them out there. More shows are coming. But for right now, especially get your tickets for February 10th, February 11th. That's Cleveland and St. Louis, because those are going like so real fast. Yeah, they're going to be, if you wait till the last minute, they're not going to be there. So definitely.
The doors will be locked. It'll be on fire.
Yeah, it'll be on fire. Maxim will be standing outside laughing with his arms crossed. Ha ha ha! Stupid Americans think they can do show about me. Ha ha ha! And Vince McMahon's whacking it in the car, watching him going, look at him. Oh, he's amazing. So, do all that. Follow us, get your merchandise and everything. Head over to shutupandgivememurder.com to do that. Follow us on social media at Crime and Sports on Twitter and Facebook, at Small Town Murder on Instagram. Follow everything there. You get all the updates and everything like that. Definitely do that. Patreon.com/crime and sports is where you get all the good bonus stuff. And God damn it, is there so much good stuff on there. $5 a month or above gets you, and that's never going to go up. We will not raise that shit. No. That's what bonus material is. No 10, no none of that shit. So that you get the whole back catalog to binge of bonus episodes that you've never heard, like 150 episodes. And then every other week, you're going to get 2 new episodes, of course. This week is slightly different because the only other time we didn't put out 2 new episodes is last Christmas when my grandma died. So last Christmas, my grandma died, and I was sad and didn't want to do them.
Last Christmas, Grandma tore you apart.
Tore me apart. And this Christmas, they're going to come out on Christmas Eve, and the bonus episodes. And, like, I'm going to have my son here, who I haven't seen in a couple months, and I don't... We're just going to try to spend more time with our families just for that couple days. Right. And so we're going to do 1 episode this Patreon. Yes. We promise the next time we'll do a couple of bangers 2 weeks after that. Yeah. We promise you. It's still a great time to sign up. And you can even gift someone a subscription. You can. But you can do that. That option is on there. But anyway, this week we're going to talk about the
hell gigs,
the worst comedy gigs we've ever encountered, Jimmie and myself. So this is going to be a lot of us laughing at ourselves and terrible things that we've been through. It's going to be awesome, trust us. And we'll make it a little extra long too for you guys. So thank you so much for doing that. Patreon.com/crime and sports. And in addition to that, you get something very special, a shout out where Jimmie's going to fuck up your name. Jimmie, tell you what. Tell me the names of the people who would never beat us up, knock us out cold, set things on fire, and then lock the door from the outside. Who are they, Jimmie? Hit me with them now.
This week's executive producers are Nilu Rafsanjani up there in San Francisco. We'll see her in San Diego. She's going to come down to the show.
Awesome.
I missed her terribly.
Yeah.
Shelby Whitman, and she donated in Italian Grandma's memory, James. That was very
thank
nice.
you so much. It's been a year.
Brian Whitney, Centeno Kennels in Ontario, Canada. Jordan Bennett and Simon both up in Canada also. And Jordan's sister Morgan. Hang in there, Morgan. Everything's going to be okay. Everybody loves you. Other producers this week are Bobo Brazil, Peyton Meadows, Happy Hour checking in, and Albuquerque. You know
Bobo, the great champion. Yeah, he's a old school wrestler, 60s, 70s.
Gary Friedman said he's the same age as us. Isn't that bizarre? And he just happens to have these old people references.
Well, he might like history shit. I like history
or hang out with his grandparents or his parents a lot.
That's why I know who they are, because I'm a dork. I like to study.
A great family is probably
maybe a good family. That's all it could be.
Happy Hour in Brazil. No, where at? Oh, that's Bobo Brazil.
Flipper was not a dolphin, Jimmie. Sorry.
Sarah Surridge, Maurice Wiggs, Thomas Tonkin, Charles
Maurice
Cartwright,
Wiggs
Terrence Trent. Do you know who Terrence Trent D'Arby is?
Yes. He's that singer from the late 80s.
Yes. Somebody donated his name.
Janice, that's Terrence Trent D'Arby. Yeah.
Janice Hill, Rosa Martinez's brother Angel. Happy birthday, Angel. Abdullah the Butcher's forehead. Larry.
Wow. All these wrestlers. Sweet.
Larry Bird's porn stash. Robert Tosky. Hannah Quinn and her pup Kenyoki. Kaja Christine Solberg. Mijelva Jensen. Jesus.
Karma Chameleon? What the fuck are you talking about?
I don't know. Elaine Carberry, Rowan Barnes, Emily Mann, Stephanie Allen, Ova Fofa. That can't be right. Roush Fan, Nick Akers, Ann Meisenheimer, Sharon Racely, Carolyn Grillo, Kristen Jensen, Cass Nanners, Lindsay Williamson, Rhonda Cooey Brisson, Pat O'Brien. That can't be right.
Maybe it's Pat O'Brien.
I hope
everybody.
It's him.
Let's watch some college basketball, shall we?
Did you ever hear
I'm
his
Pat
tapes?
O'Brien. Yes.
His tapes are amazing.
Yeah.
Courtney Valentino, Bo Coons, Jen Wong, Christina, with no last name, Marcus Ferrier, maybe? Cheryl Lyman, Seth Morrissey, Anita Surdell, Naina, I think, with no last name, Sabrina Dunham. Yeah, Durham, Nicole Davenport, Amber Wright, Christoph S., Tammy Silver, Jeffrey Babcock, Jennifer Aloge, Whitney Anzadaludo. What? Anzel Dua, Antoine Hirsch, Justin McIntyre, Aaron Evers, Cassie Wright, Sean Kelly, Julie Metzler, Danielle Barnes, Patrick Murphy, Kelly Anderson, Mapner Honky Rabby. Nope.
What was that?
Mapner Honk Rebella? Nope.
Didn't sound anything like the first time we said it.
Frasanthan Nagan, I think. Coena Messing. Quentin Graham, Melissa Kelly, Bailey Gaspar, Dianelle Delgado, Travis Schlemme, Val with no last name, Brad Jessup, Dana with no last name, Nathaniel Posey, Joni Fourneau, Joelle Marie, Kelly Scott, Matthew Kohler, Leah Korber, Brian Sherbowski, Ray with no last name, Kara Gregg, Amy Waters, Jorboa, Gooden, J.R. Erickson, Joey, nope, that's Joe, Huber, Ashley Goker, Brody Crawford, Michael Stout, Sherry Davis. She got her name back after her divorce. Congratulations.
Hey, good for
Suzanne Baxley, and also Stephen Baxley. Sherry Bombard, Roberta Shearer, Kelsey Juleseth White, Afton Moss, Wes Crawford, Chris Griffin, McKyler, Korth, Chad Vaughn, times one Ender, X1 maybe, I don't know. Jamie Martin, Jason Enyart, Elizabeth Vasquez, that's not Liz Vasquez, that's another one. Mariah Carter, Sean Elkins with James Diaz, Sway with no last name, probably also Antec. Riley Fortin, Jonah Garcia, Carolyn B., Samantha Brock, David Kohler, Felicity Malias, Haley with no last name, Romaine Stevenson, Sneaky Seraphin, Melissa Koplinger, G. Moyer, Aaron McAvoy, Michelle Mabry, Gail the Snail, Darlene Davis, Jesse Delamate, B. Varner, Sherry Engelkeys, Monica Farrell, Catherine Spear, Cherie Bondurant, Never Enough Dildos. All right. Andrew Alexander, Bang Bang Bird Gang, Jennifer Rogers, Stephanie Wright, Amy Marsh, Baron, nope, that's Aaron, Hone, Eliza Butcher, God damn it, Jordan Tesner, Jennifer Oakes, Alex Thomas, Dawn Perotti, Jordan Collins, Elizabeth Kay, Shannon Rogers, Jamie Jenkins, Brad Barley, Natalie Grosso, Ron Burris, Katie Kamanyars.
You just ran out of gas on that.
Oh boy. BB Brogeria. Catherine
should have been followed with an I don't know what I'm doing. One of those famous ones from back in the day.
Teresa Crocker, Desta Lynn, Lauren Fiotto, Martha Parker, Amanda Dyke. What? All right, this is not right. Amanda Dickamy.
Oh, you're got a Bart
Somebody's
Simpson.
fucking with me. There's no way this is a real name. Amanda Dickamy.
Is there a man to dick me up?
That's
Everybody,
what it is.
I'm looking for a man to dick me up. Ha ha! Ah, you bastards! When I get a hold of you, I'm going to rip your tongue out and shove it up your ass.
You better tweet us.
That's a definite Moe's Tavern.
John
crank call.
Moe's Tavern. How can I? Amanda Dickamy.
That's what it is.
John McGuire, Abby with no last name, Brittany Warapius, Rachel Fisher, Becky
War Penis. Family name. It's more
Becky
penis.
Mockford, Amelie Elgren, the Carp with no last name, Chelius Thomas, that's probably not right either. Timothy Sawyer Garza, Sarah Dixon, Charlin Pepper, Timothy Snyder, Chris with no last name. What is it?
Harlan Pepper.
That might be. It's probably another Moe's Tavern. I'm just gonna go Moe's Tavern when I see him. That's what I'm gonna go.
I think that's a Best in Show reference, Harlan Pepper?
Maybe. I don't know.
Sorry, go ahead.
Timothy Snyder, Chris with no last name, Kevin Fest, Noah Perry, Candy Brewer, Tanya Houston, Jenny Babita, Samuel Redke, I think, Adrian Flores, Stacy Nicole Lawson, Sean Smith, Neely Mitchell, Sarah Seward, Lauren Curtis, Carlos Callwood, Shayla Lolo, Amy Woodward, Paige Brush, Oh, boy. Mackenzie Sorensen, Katie Hofton, Josh Fisher, Josh Ryan. Nope, that's Josh Ray. Kenny Russell, Scanati Lee. That can't be real. Canetti Kitchen, Megan Kerbon, Shelby Go Yet. Giovanni Gnocchis, Jessica Snow, Charles Ashley, Vanessa Borquez, Kevin Owens, Tobias Gregory, Derek Kelly, Julianne Tufts, Sam Burris, and Daisy, and all of our patrons. You guys are terrific. Thank you.
Thank you so much, everybody, for all that you do for us and for everything. And I'm excited to be doing this, and I know we're both excited to be continuing with this and not throwing it away, because we know.
Thank you for being a part of it.
Thank you for honestly letting us know that you gave a shit enough to where we feel like we have to do. Yeah, thank you. Honestly, we do appreciate the fuck out of everything for the past 7 years, what you've all done for us. Thank you so much, and what you continue to do. Best thing you can do for us ever is tell a friend. Tell all your friends. You can advertise, you can show people stuff, but until their friend, someone they trust, tells them, this makes me laugh. I want to talk about this with you, so listen to it. That's what helps a lot. So thank you for doing that. You want to follow us on social media, real easy to do. There's links to everything on shutupandgivememurder.com. So keep coming back, and keep coming back week after week now, live from the Crime and Sports Studios. We will see you next week.
Bye.
If you like crime and sports, you can listen early and ad-free now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen early and ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
In the 1980s, a rosé swept the country.
Hey, Mike, I really like this white Zinfandel.
Well, good. Now put it down. We're going to try another one.
White Zin became America's top-selling wine. But most don't know that this sweet drink has a sour history. What began in 1986 with counterfeit bottles.
A big fraud, a multi-million-dollar fraud.
Sent investigators chasing one of the most powerful families in the business, the Licciardis. But the closer the feds got to them, the more dangerous things became. It's a story of deceit.
At the time, I was paranoid.
Threats.
You touch my kids, I will kill you.
And murder.
With a .22 caliber bullet to the head.
What started with a scheme to mislabel wine spilled into a blood-soaked battle for succession. Welcome to Bloodvines. You can binge listen to Bloodvines exclusively and ad-free on Wondery Plus. Join Wondery Plus in the Wondery app, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify.